Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jen at KetosisMom. You can find me right here on YouTube, obviously at KetosisMom. You can also find me over on Instagram at KetosisMom and on Instagram and Like to Know It over at Living Large and Lily. Now, today I'm going to be doing a quick update for everyone. I want to first and foremost thank our sponsor for today. Our sponsor today is Daily Gym Vitamins, and I'm going to be going over those with you in just a few moments, but thank you, Jim, for being the sponsor of today's video. I'm going to be going over the Emerge compounds today. I got one sent to my house so that I can tell you all what the process really was, what it was like, and also what you will be receiving. I'm going to be going over the difference between Emerge as well as Weight Watchers Clinic, as well as one other option today, because I've had a lot of DMs asking me what are the real choices and which one is the best one. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so this is probably what a lot of you have been waiting for. As you all know, I am a Zepbound girl. I have been taking Zepbound from the very beginning. Now, I'm going to burst some bubbles right now because I did not take the compound. I'm still taking Zepbound. I'm still a brand name girl. However, I did obtain it so that I could tell you guys what my process was, what I went through to obtain it, and also how it was received, which I think is very important. So previously, you all know that I did some reviews on some other platforms and pharmacies that did not go so well. I was honestly very disappointed in that entire process because I felt like the further I went and the more I dug, the worse it got. And that really turned me off from compounds even more than it had from the get-go. So since then, a lot of you know that I've kind of been looking at all the different options that there are because I feel like it is extremely confusing for people. When I first started trying to just figure out how I could get Zepbound because my local doctor's office could not get it approved. I mean, this is an endocrinologist office. This is a specialty office. They deal with this type of drug all the time, and they could not even get the prior authorization to go through with the insurance. That's kind of saying something here. Like, what the heck is going on with insurances that they're trying to just deny? You guys know how I feel about insurances controlling everything. I can't stand how the United States does this. I was just reading something that they put that in Europe, these drugs only cost, the actual name brand Zepbound only cost about $100 for a patient. And I think when they looked at it, it really only cost about 75 cents. I think last week I showed that Bernie Sanders' team said it's well below $4. Well, 75 cents is really well below $4 here, Bernie. I mean, and realistically, the United States and the way that we have privatized and made a whole business out of insurance is really just harming the American people more than anything. It almost makes me realize that all these people who have moved over to Europe are not crazy after all. They're moving to where it actually makes sense. First of all, yes, this was covered. I did not have to pay for my Emerge compound. I wrote a blog post that I have put up a couple of times for you all, going through this platform that I looked at with Emerge compounds, the different pharmacies that they use that are in fact 503A, or it's a 503B that feeds into a 503A pharmacy. I have been able to find them on the FDA website. I've been able to find that they have a state license that says that they are a sterile processing facility. And I've even conversated back and forth with the pharmacy about what their makeup is of their Tirzepatide compound that they're sending out. So for instance, mine came from Hallandale Pharmacy. You can go to this blog post right here. I have literally tagged everything for you all to be able to just click and see, okay, here's their state license. Here's their last FDA audits. Here's their last inspections that they had. Yes, they've had some problems. All of them have. However, I would rather see that they have been audited, and the FDA knows that they're even doing this, and they're overlooking them, and they know that they have that oversight, and they're volunteering for that GMP type oversight, as opposed to basically what I felt like hiding from the FDA. The FDA has no information on them. I even did an FAOI request, and there's no information on the previous pharmacy for the FDA whatsoever. And all of the users, like end users that I was seeing having so many issues just with shipping it to them from the previous experience that I did, was like, no, absolutely not. You guys, I talked last time about just traveling with these medications and how you need to keep them at a certain temperature. There's no way that I'm going to be okay with me paying for something and then it's sent to me and it's already above the temperatures that it needs to be at before I ever even get it. And then with that specific drug, you're not supposed to be re-refrigerating it for use. So basically, the previous center, by sending it not at the temperature controls that it should be at, they're basically sending you something that is it's going to go bad within 21 days anyway. However, I do want to remind everyone, there are no stability studies on compounded drugs. So a stability study in manufacturing is going to tell manufacturing also what they tell the FDA, and also is posted for patients from Eli Lilly, for instance, about Zepbound. How long is this drug good, and at what temperatures is it good for? When does it start losing its potency? When does it start degrading? When does it start having issues? Those are the type of studies that you really, really want around anything that you're going to be taking. That is why, personally, coming from a manufacturing background, I know the types of studies that go into these FDA regulated and approved drugs to get them approved for human consumption. Those type of studies are not there for compounded drugs. I can't stress this enough. I know that there's more articles out right now and more posts from the FDA about compounded medications for the public to review. However, I also know from my audience alone and the forums that I see, people cannot get access to the brand name drugs in the United States. They cannot afford these brand name drugs in the United States. If they were in Europe paying less than $100, sure, yeah, I'll pay $100 for my month worth of supply, but that's not the case in the United States. People are paying, even with a savings card, $550, all the way up to $1,400 just for one single month of 4 injections for the brand name. That's just not realistic for the majority of America, okay? Yeah, okay, celebrities, that's just a drop in the bucket for them, but guess what? We're not all celebrities. So I looked into the different compounding options, wrote the blog post on this specific platform called Emerge that is ran by an MD, and she has her own staff that also overlook this. Yes, you text back and forth. It is super easy. I'm going to tell you guys, you don't have to go log on somewhere and figure out in a dashboard where you need to go to refill something or where you need to go to request something. You're having an actual conversation with a real person back and forth on text message, as if you would your friend that lives next door, right? You can ask them any type of questions that you want to. If you start getting nausea and vomiting, you can also ask them, hey, is there any way I could get you to call me in something? I'm having a horrible time. Have them call in something to a local pharmacy for you as well. These are doctors and registered nurses that you're working with through Emerge. That's one reason that I like that platform, because I could physically see who they were using and where they were sending it from. Most of the platforms that I looked into did not tell you up front where they were going to be sending your compound from. I had to really, really dig. I made myself like a full chart on here, and basically every single platform that had the previous pharmacy that I reviewed, I automatically lined them through. I did not look at them any further. Even if that's not who would ship to me in my specific location, that's not a platform and that's not a pharmacy that I would recommend for people. And if you want to know why, you can go back and watch the full video. Make sure that you look at the comments down below as well, because I tag lots of things after the video as well, including information about their specific supplier of their Tirzepatide and how it has been basically refused at the import line by the FDA, along with, you know, semaglutides and other items that specific supplier is even trying to get into the United States. That for me is just a huge no. I am never going to change my opinion on that unless they completely do a whole overhaul of what they are utilizing. I know that a lot of people are using it. A lot of people are being paid to say that they use it and they love it. A lot of people that you guys see on TikTok are telling you that it's so great, it's so wonderful, you got to go do it. Don't believe everybody that is a content creator is all I'm going to say. You all understand that we are physically paid or gifted items so that we can share it with you all. That is not something that I think you guys should play with. And I personally am going to do the research behind something before I ever physically tell you about it or share it with you. I also am much different than most content creators. For instance, like today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is something that I personally have used for a while because it is a whole food vitamin. There's nothing synthetic. There's no additives. It is just whole foods that's put together so that you can obtain those vitamins. And you all know, I've said before, I have issues with B vitamins. The issues with B vitamins that I have are not the ones that come from eating food. It's the ones that come in the actual synthetic vitamins that they put together. I cannot take those. If it's whole food, then yes, I can take it. So there's a difference. I am a little funny, and I have my husband that works with me as well. My husband like screens everybody who comes through our email that says that they want to work with us, and he will basically just say, you know, hey, because she has never used your product or she's not familiar with your product, you're going to have to send your product in advance. We're going to have to take the time to test it, try it out, and make sure that it's something that she would in fact recommend before we ever agree to anything. And most, I'm going to tell you guys, because I'm in a lot of creator groups, most creators are not like that. Most creators are going to take the money and they're going to run, and they're going to tell you that they're using something even though they're not using it, or they're going to tell you that something is great even though they haven't really even looked into it to see if it is in fact great, just because they're getting a kickback for it. And you guys know how I feel about kickbacks, because doctors are getting kickbacks for drugs as well. It's the same exact theory. So if you want to know why it is that I went with Emerge, you can simply just read the blog post. I went through, I checked them out, I checked their platform out, I checked out who they were sending from, regardless of where you are in the United States, and it is all linked there. We've all been waiting for the Emerge compound pack arrived. This is how it arrived. You guys are going to see, not only does it say refrigerate upon arrival, it's also going to have a giant fragile on here, because I don't know about your alls, FedEx men and UPS men and mailmen, they like to throw things at my house. Just throw that right on out there. This is how it arrives. It obviously, you guys are going to know, you're going to refrigerate this upon arrival. This comes from Hallandale Pharmacy. Now, they have a giant sticker on here now that says, do not throw outside. Do not throw out. This is a medication inside. I think that a lot of the reviews that I've seen in Hallandale Pharmacy, people did not realize that inside this giant freezer pack was the medication. And I think they thought this was just a giant frozen pack, and they were throwing it out because they were saying, I only receive syringes. They do not put the syringes inside this giant freezer pack. You guys can see down in here, this is lined. The whole thing is a giant freezer pack when you receive it, which is awesome. Not only is it frozen and sitting down in here, and it was still rock solid frozen when I received it, but it also is shielding everything from light. And I know that a lot of people don't realize that these drugs are light sensitive, but they are. So inside here, when I reached down in here, there was also an additional frozen pack that was rock solid when I received it because it came overnight, okay? So this was not something that the freezer pack was kind of mushy or just kind of lightly cold. The entire thing was still frozen. The great thing about Emerge is I get the tracking number from the actual pharmacy via FedEx, and I can see when it leaves the pharmacy and when it arrives from my door, and it is in fact overnight. That's what I think is very important for everyone to remember here. You want this to come to you overnight. You want it to still be cold when you receive it. You do not want to receive this and question whether or not it has been over that 41 degrees or over, honestly, even less than that with a compound, because you don't really know what the stability of a compound is. You want it to still be cold, 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 as if you're reaching into a refrigerator when you receive it. If you're not, like with some of my other scents that I received, you're probably not going to want to use it because, like I said, there's really no stability studies around compounds, and you don't really know if it's still good or not. And I promise you all, if there is a pharmacy that would send me an actual stability study, I would probably kiss someone's feet, because there are no stability studies on compounded medication. Not only can a pharmacy not really tell you how much of the actual drug you're getting in each syringe that you're pulling out, they also cannot tell you how long the drug is good for after they have mixed it. I think that's very, very important for people to understand, because as I start reviewing some of the negative reviews that I have found about Hallandale Pharmacy, is 1 week they won't feel anything, the next week they'll feel like they got too much. And that is 100% possible, because unless you're really agitating your compound really, really well to make sure that the whole mixture is fully mixed every time you're about to withdraw some from your syringe, you could just be sucking up the water and all of the compound, the actual tirzepatide's down in the bottom. You could just be injecting yourself with the water mixture the first time because it has settled. The next time you could mix it up a little bit, you could get a little bit more of the tirzepatide. The more you use of the vial going down, then the stronger it could potentially get. So you really want to make sure that you're agitating these really well, and you really, really, really want to make sure you're following the instructions for injecting the compound per whatever pharmacy you have it coming from. For me, there was a huge difference in receiving a pack like this versus receiving a pack like this that's fully protected, has the full layer down inside, it's frozen solid, versus when I received this one, these looked just like this. I could squish them all around. They still, even at sitting at room temperature for weeks now, they still feel slightly cold. That's exactly how they felt when I received it though. They were not frozen. The medicine was not kept at a correct temperature. And I have no idea how long it actually took to get this, because still to this day, the platform that this came from shows that the medicine is still sitting at the pharmacy, even though this was received, over a month plus ago? Wow. So here's a closer look of how this looked as it arrived. This is right when I pulled it in from the front door. Yes, it does have some weight to it, just so that you guys know. It is also fully sealed on both of the sides. You want to make sure that that seal is not broken. This comes from HCP Fulfillment Center in Fort Lauderdale. They are going to send you, I believe, 10 syringes that are in here. These are what they call the insulin needles. And it does say specifically on here how much you're going to be injecting in those syringes, which I feel like the Hallandale guidance on how to actually administer this was above and beyond what I previously received. This entire pack was freezing cold. When I stuck my hand down in here, there's a freezer pack that's down in the bottom as well that this was sitting on. And you'll notice that it wasn't the medicine just sitting directly on that cold pack. It's within a wrapped baggie, also within a box, and then the vial was inside of there. And you're gonna see that's a solid brick. It's solid cold. So another thing about Hallandale is they're going to give you the syringes, they're going to give you the alcohol wipes, and they're going to give you instructions. I do want to tell you all, when I went through with Emerge, yes, it is a text-based system. It is a back and forth with an actual human, an actual medical professional asking you questions back and forth. They're also going to want to do a video dependent on what state you're in and what your telehealth guidelines are is going to basically dictate what it is that you personally have to do. So in the state of Kentucky, you have to show that you have physically seen the person and that you have physically checked against an ID and against a medical record that they are in fact the same person, and try to gauge like the BMI that I'm telling you that I am. Do I physically look like that as well, right? So that's something that Emerge did do with me, where I had to submit like, hi, this is my name. This is what my BMI currently is. This is what I've previously been taking. Here's the medical record of that if you would like to see it. You can also ask them if they would like to see your labs or not. With Emerge, there is no minimum BMI that you have to be. They will prescribe this to you if in a discussion with you, they feel that you, in fact, need it. And for me personally, because I'm allergic to those B vitamins that are the synthetic, type vitamins, I did not want that in the compound that I was receiving, just in case I do ever take it. Because while I am still taking the Zepbound every single week, I'm still on the 2.5 milligram. That's all I can personally find. It has become increasingly harder and harder just to find the 2.5 milligram where I'm located. When I last went to Costco, there were people standing around the entire front area where they check you out, waiting for their shipment to arrive. I believe they said at 2:30 that day, and they try to hurry up and buy everything that comes into the shipment. So they're not necessarily filling based on who has had a prescription sitting. They're filling based off who is standing in front of them right now and requesting that their prescription be filled. So they're working more off of like, hey, we've got payment right now type basis, which for a business, I can't really ding them on this because they want their money. Everything's always about money, guys. They want their money. They don't want to like hold it for somebody that doesn't show up and then they lose out on a customer, right? However, I really wish that the pharmacies would fill based on when the prescription was submitted and who has been sitting kind of waiting the longest that might need it right then. And so I kind of said, okay, I'm not coming here at 2:30 every day trying to obtain this from you. I did obtain some from Amazon Pharmacy. However, since I last filled for the Amazon Pharmacy for my location, it says that they are completely out of stock of both the 2.5 and the 5 milligram as well via Amazon. Lilly Direct is also still out of stock for the 5 milligram as well. So as time continues on, and Eli Lilly's instruction to their reps is to just tell doctors to keep prescribing, keep prescribing, keep prescribing, keep prescribing. There's not enough of this 2.5 milligram to even just start new patients on, much less give the patients who have been on it the medication as well. So I feel like their theory of just write those prescriptions is absolutely insane. I feel like Novo Nordisk that we've discussed in the past, that is basically worried about their higher dose patients, making sure that they're retaining them, is the much more sensible solution for this. Like, hey, we're going to give these patients who've been on this for a while so that they don't go anywhere, because so many people are flip-flopping from Zepbound back over to Wegovy, or basically just leaving Zepbound and going to compounds. It is insane. Every single person that I am looking at on these actual Zepbound forums are moving to compounds, and some of them I want to just scream at them and shake them and say, I don't get that. And I cannot stress enough that if you are going to go against what the FDA's kind of warning is on this, and you're going to go against how a lot of medical professionals feel about the compounds of this medicine, and you're going to say, I think it's safe enough for me, I would rather go on the compounded version of this than switch to a completely new drug. I get it, because I have this that I've received from Emerge. It's good. The expiration is throughout a year, so it's good through 2025. I think April is what it said. So it's going to sit in my refrigerator just in case I really cannot obtain this, because the shortage is real. Shortages are real. There's a whole new shortage tracker on Ro. I will tell you all, I think it's okay, it's not that great. You can put in your location and say like, hey, I can't find it. I feel like there's a lot of people just saying like, hey, I can't find it, and they're trying to randomly blink up some things saying that, oh, somebody did find it here, here, and here. But however, for my location to give me a notification that someone found it in New York versus Kentucky really does me no good. I'm not going to go drive to New York overnight to go try to find this drug. I'm sure some people are willing to do that. I am not one of those people. So yes, there is this new tracker. If you all missed it at the end of my video last time, you can go, check that out and see if it's something that you could or could not utilize. I will also talk to people today about the Weight Watchers Clinic. I've been using the Weight Watchers Clinic since I first started. They are the ones who got Zepbound approved for me through my insurance so that it costs $25 or less for me personally. I'm an Aetna user, and with that Eli Lilly savings coupon that I also linked down below for you all, that is something that I feel like makes sense for me. I can pay $25. I'm not going to pay $500, $1,200 for this. I know that a lot of you are, and I would love to know what it is you guys do, because I don't have that kind of money. I just don't. I don't have that kind of money to be spending on things like that. Yes, it's for my health. Yes, it's for me, but that's not $1,000 plus that I'm willing to spend every month if I can even find it. I feel like a lot of people who have been spending that kind of money and then now they can't locate it and they can't find it, they're also getting a little frustrated because they've spent all this money and now what are they going to do? They're going to likely go to compounds. That's probably what they're going to do. I will also talk to you about Weight Watchers Clinic I've told you all this before, does not support compounds. They will only write the prescription for an FDA approved and regulated drug. They have set drugs that they will write for. I will tell you all, there is the monthly fee with Weight Watchers Clinic. I believe it's around $86. With that $86, you're getting your weight specialist doctor, so a doctor who is in fact a weight loss specialist, a full care team that is there to also kind of talk back and forth with you. You get the fitness coach, you get the app for tracking, and then if you would like to talk to a dietitian or nutritionist, you can also have that aspect as well. I track all of my food and my water within their app, and so I feel like really I'm paying more for access to their food database, if I ever need to scan anything. However, I've also noticed since I started taking this drug, I don't really eat a whole lot of things that I have to scan. There's not a whole lot that has a barcode because I'm eating a lot of whole foods. Speaking of me eating a lot of whole foods, I do want to take a quick break for our sponsor today, and I do want to show you guys a little bit more about Gym vitamins. Today's sponsor is Gym, and this is a vitamin that you can eat instead of taking it, which I don't know about you all, but I absolutely love that fact. I've always been someone who would rather eat what I'm having to have instead of taking it or choking down some type of liquid. These taste absolutely amazing as well. Jim has worked with a pastry chef to ensure that these do taste good, because everybody knows that a vitamin that you take every single day is the best one anyway, because you're not going to get all the vitamins and supplements each morning that you need unless you're actually taking it. So for this, Gym can help fill in your daily diet with real whole food source nutrients
that everybody needs in their body. Even if you're trying to eat the full rainbow, which I try to do as well, I try to count how many different colors of fruits and vegetables I'm getting along with my protein. Today's food is simply so over-farmed that it's not as nutrient dense as it once was or as it should be. So you really do need to help fill in the gaps with something like this. When you take isolated powders or pills or gummies, they can often be full of synthetic ingredients and also fillers, and that can strip away the power of the antioxidants and phytonutrients that you can get from real food. As you all know, in previous weeks, I've stated I am vitamin B deficient because I cannot personally take a lot of these synthetic and pills and liquids of B vitamins because it makes my entire body break out. But if I get my B vitamins from a whole food source, then I don't have that exact same reaction. So I've been taking these for over a month. They do have B vitamins in it. It's actually packed with over 20 different vitamins, minerals, superfoods, prebiotics, and probiotics to help support your overall holistic health of your entire body. I mean, we're talking about hair, skin, nails, digestion. I mean, everything that you need in what a multivitamin would be is packed into these little bites. And I think the best part about this is you're not having to just take something that tastes horrible or is in some kind of capsule that you're hoping that it's going to go and get absorbed, because they've worked with a pastry chef to make sure that this is something that you're going to actually want to take every single morning. And I do. It's delicious. It is a big bite in my opinion. So I cut mine up into multiple little bites, and what's fun about this for me too, and this is probably a little childish, but I do like to kind of dig in here and see all of the full size bits that are in there. While I try to eat nuts every single day, I'm not getting all the different nuts. I'm not getting seeds, I'm not getting oats, I'm not getting chickpeas, I'm not getting quinoa sprouts, I'm not getting the ginger, the turmeric, the zinc, I'm not getting the black pepper that helps activate different ingredients like this in your body that everything in this one little bite has, so that my body can help absorb this for my energy, my mood, my hair, skin, and nails, my digestion, my immunity, my bone, my brain health. I mean, there's so many different things that this can help throughout your entire day. Along with their pastry chef, they also have an entire scientific advisory board. So this is developed by doctors, not just holistic medicine doctors, but neurologists, dietitians, herbalists, also functional medicine doctors as well. So for me, this is how I start my every single day, and I am partnering with them to give all of you 50% off your very first month with Gym. They also have additional ones as well. Make sure you check them out.
Hopefully you guys can take advantage of that 50% off that they are offering my audience. Thank you, Jim, so much for that. I know that's going to help a lot of people, but so far this has been the only thing that I have been physically scanning into my Weight Watchers clinic is this barcode right here for my daily gym. I take this every single morning, and so every single morning it's basically like already loaded into my Weight Watchers clinic for me able to just hit yes, okay, I had that at breakfast today. This has been great for me personally. I've been taking this for a very long time because I have a lot of problems when it comes to vitamins. That's just me. I have a lot of different reactions. I feel like if there's a side effect to something, I usually get it. I'm going to knock on wood right now, knock on everything that there is, because I haven't had that many side effects with Zepbound, and that's why I'm very, very hesitant to switch to something new. Now, with the Weight Watchers Clinic, a lot of complaints. It's also called the Sequence Clinic. A lot of complaints right now is, hey, I'm not even able to obtain my medicine right now. So why am I paying this platform fee? Why am I paying a doctor to write a prescription to something that I cannot even obtain? And I understand that. I get it, because I too am kind of at that spot right now. And not only that, they will not increase my prescription to the 5 milligram for the past couple of months because it still shows that it is in shortage. So the doctor at Weight Watchers Clinic says, I'm not going to write a prescription for something that it states with the FDA is in shortage. I'm only willing to write a prescription for the 2.5. I've been getting messages like this one right here from an audience member that left this just this week saying, hey, like there's no problem getting this. I'm getting it at CVS Caremark. I put in the prescription. I too use Weight Watchers Clinic. Interesting. and they got theirs. So I asked the Weight Watchers Clinic if they would please submit for the 5 milligram, and they have not done so yet in like the past week. And they were asking me how many of the 2.5 I have left, which I took one today, and I'll show you guys that injection towards the end of the video. And I have one left for next week. And so I'm thinking, why won't they go ahead and submit this? Because with my insurance, typically, as long as it's been over 2 weeks, I can call CVS Caremark. They will go ahead and lift a hold if I can locate the drug to go ahead and obtain it, so that I'm not trying to rush last second. One of my biggest just complaints about this drug is that this really should be a 90-day, or what do they call it, an 86, 84-day, whatever it is. This should be a 90-day prescription. There's a lot of drugs that you can get 90 days worth of it to store it. I'm not really sure why they're only releasing the 28 days, other than the fact that it is in shortage and they don't want people just stockpiling. However, there are some insurances that are allowing the patients to still obtain the 3 months worth. I've seen it on a lot of the Facebook groups. I've seen people's fridges where they have a 7.5, a 5, a 2.5. They're filling every single level of the drug when they find it, and they have a standing prescription that is good for like a year for each one of those levels, so that every time they find it, they can fill it. So I think some doctors are a little more lenient than others, regardless of what platform you go through, because obviously my Weight Watchers Clinic doctor doesn't want to write the 5 milligrams because it's listed in shortage, whereas other people that are also on Weight Watchers Clinic, their doctor wrote them the 5 and they were able to obtain it. So I'm a little back and forth on Weight Watchers Clinic right now. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. And I've gotten a lot of messages from people that said, hey, okay, you talk about Weight Watchers Clinic, however, you cannot get compounds through them. Then you've talked about Emerge compounding, but you can only get compounds through them. Is there a platform that I can get my prescription, and then if the prescription's not available, that the doctor is okay also writing a prescription for a compounded medicine, that the compounded medicine they're getting is from a valid source pharmacy that you have looked into and you feel that they would be okay. And I'm going to be very, very frank with you all. Yes, there are platforms that do that. A lot of people have put in my comments down below multiple platforms that have done that, if you go and look through the comments. However, a lot of those platforms are also the platforms that I completely marked through, because I know that a lot of the people who were receiving from them were from the pharmacy that I do not approve of. So I have done a little digging, and I've been in contact with a representative of Mochi. Now, Mochi was originally marked off of my list because they filled from that pharmacy. And I saw a lot of people and a lot of complaints about Mochi sending from that pharmacy after I did my first video. Now, I will tell you all that Mochi does not use that pharmacy anymore. So I've been in discussion with them to talk about what pharmacy it is that they are using, and getting information from that specific pharmacy. They will write a prescription for your brand name drug, so your Zepbound, your Wegovy, your Ozempic, your Mounjaro. And if you cannot afford it, your insurance stops covering it, it becomes too expensive for you, or you cannot physically locate it, you can discuss with them possibly switching over to a compounded drug, which they are now contracted through a single pharmacy, and that single pharmacy will only supply their platform patients. So they are no longer going through multiple different pharmacies based on where the patient lives. They are going through one single entity pharmacy that is a 503A pharmacy. I'm still in the process of looking up more about it. I am still in the process about receiving additional information about their Tirzepatide that they use, about if they have any type of additives in their compound. However, I am going to be digging more into them because I know that this is an option that people can do either or from the same platform. So a lot of people are going to say, why am I going to pay the $86 for Weight Watchers Clinic and then I can't obtain it, and then I have to go pay a platform fee for a compound? I will tell you all that Emerge Compounding does not have a platform fee. There's no platform fee. However, Emerge Compounding is going to send to you, it's a 28-day kind of ongoing thing. It is really more for people who are for sure going to be using the compound and they're planning to get it every 28 days. Because I myself had to go back and forth with Emerge and say, hey, whoa, I have what I received. I'm doing my video on it. I'm also going on vacation. Don't send additional compounds to my house because there's no one there to receive it. And that's just a huge waste of money. So I have had to go back and forth with them multiple times this week to say, like, I'm just reminding you, like, I received this notification that the pharmacy was going to send this out the next day, and do not send that to my house. Like, don't do it. You know, like, yes, I have someone coming and checking on my house, and I have a neighbor who's like gonna be like hardcore looking at my house the entire time I'm gone. However, they're not going to like rush over and get something like this sent. And I really am kind of weird about other people handling any kind of medicine that I may or may not be taking anyway. So I've had to go back and forth with them a few times to ensure that they're in fact not sending it. With Mochi, I know that it is a platform. I know that you do have to kind of log in to be able to order what you want to order. However, I'm also asking them additional information around, is this something that if you just wanted to order a compound one time and then go back on the brand name that you're on, that kind of back and forth is supported with your platform and your doctors or not? And I'm still in the process of getting a lot more information. However, I will tell you all, their shipping is absolutely impeccable. Their shipping in this type of like cylinder that is even for travel purposes. They're additionally contracted now through that one single pharmacy to ensure that all of their patients can get what they're looking for. Because a lot of people have been saying, if the brand name is in shortage, how are these compounds not in shortage, especially when so many people are switching over to these compounds? And I think at some point in time, there's going to be a switch that flips. And once the brand name drugs come back and say, hey, we're no longer in shortage, the FDA is in fact going to tell a lot of these compounders, you can no longer compound this drug. It is not on our FDA shortage list anymore. You're done. Okay? That is why getting on a platform that can give you a prescription to the brand name drug is still very important. Whether or not you decide to go to Weight Watchers Clinic or whether or not you decide to go something like Mochi that can do both. I know that a lot of people have talked about other platforms as well. I have not dug so much into them as I have with Mochi. I have seen a lot of people on Mochi, a lot of people loving Mochi. And when I see that there's not a whole lot of negative other than about the one pharmacy that I already talked about was a negative, then okay, let's look at you and see what you're all about. So I still have a lot of questions going back and forth with one of their reps. They also were introducing their lead doctor, their lead MD to me within their briefing. And so I'm still digging into it. I'm going to be honest with you all. I'm still digging into it. However, I will have answers for you all, and I am asking the questions, and I am asking for the actual documents of their quality testing that they're claiming that they are doing on these compounds. And I'm also asking for where they are sourcing these drugs as well, because I know that I read a study that did, or not a study, but an article that did say be very, very careful with the semaglutide side, because the semaglutide also has a salt version of the semaglutide that a lot of people are compounding that salt version, which does not have the same effects as the semaglutide that Novo Nordisk is using within their drugs. And that I also have seen from a lot of people that, oh, like, hey, this is just water and salt. You have to be very, very, very wary of where you're getting compounded medicines from. And if you were unsure of how to look any of that up, go back and look at some of my videos that are in this playlist and make sure that you are writing down and you are using the links that are there to be able to look all that up. A couple of other things when it comes to compounds. Yes, if you're a nurse or you're a phlebotomist and you're used to vials and syringes, that's great for you. However, I do have a list over on Amazon that has things like an auto injector, a needle blinder, and also a vial and syringe holder that is really going to aid just kind of the typical person. Where I have been in clinical and then switched from clinical to pharmaceutical manufacturing, yes, I've been around vials, I've been around needles. I'm not the best with it. And that is what I've done like forever. I'm not a nurse and I'm not used to like drawing back syringes. I personally looked at the syringes that came with this compound and I'm going, that's not what I thought it was going to look like. I would love if one of these facilities would pre-fill the syringes for people and then also try to make sure that each syringe had the same amount of the tirzepatide in it. However, I know that that's just not something that they're going to be doing. I know that they're just going to fill the vial and send it out. So if you need a little help with that, go over to the full list and look at the things that I have tagged that might help you. What I want to hear from everybody down below in the comments is, what are you taking? Have you been on Zepbound the entire time? Have you been on mounjaro the entire time? Did you switch from Wegovy over to Zepbound? Did you switch from Zepbound over to compound? What are you guys doing? And I would love to hear your thoughts on what you all use and where you receive it from. Now it's time for our segment called In the News. So all of the weight loss drugs, as you know, have been in the news for quite some time, and I get alerts on my phone every single day to read different news articles. This one came up this week where the weight loss GLP-1 industry is going to be $130 billion by the year of 2030. And I sat looking at that for a minute and thought, I don't even think it's going to take until 2030, to be honest. There are more drugs coming out in the beginning of 2025, including this one right here that Eli Lilly is on clinical trial for right now. I do want to remind everybody that I will put a link down below. Make sure that you're always looking into these manufacturers to see what type of clinical trials they're doing. If you're interested in participating in a clinical trial, then you can always go and apply, especially if you have any of the underlying diseases that they are looking to study. I already covered this earlier today, but there were additional warnings on compounds. Yes, I understand the majority of you are on compounds. Yes, I understand that the majority of people who were previously on Wegovy, Ozempic, Mounjaro, and Zepbound are also interested in going over to compounds. However, there are plenty of warnings out there from doctors, from the FDA as well, to just remind you all to make sure, as I've been saying, that you are looking into what it is you're actually getting and that where you're getting it from is a legit pharmacy. Another thing that my mother sent me this week, because my husband is prone to kidney stones, is that right now is the time of year that kidney stones are more prevalent. So I do want to remind everyone that you need to be drinking your water. Yes, everyone knows that you need to drink your water. I keep this cup with me everywhere I go. It is always filled. It is always full. And on the vacation that I'm going on, where our altitude level is going to be up there, we are going to Yellowstone. Never been. I'm excited. I'm also very frightened and afraid because of the people getting attacked by bison. So I need to make sure that I stay fully hydrated while I'm there so that I don't have any type of altitude sickness. But right now, you need to make sure if you are prone to kidney stones, any type of kidney disease, and also I will tell you all, eating the additional protein that is required of all of us on these medicines, you must make sure that you are drinking your water. I know that you're tired of people telling you to drink water. I'm tired of people telling me to drink water. It makes me just want to like backhand somebody. Go ahead, here you go, slap my face. I get it, but drink your water. Please, please, please drink your water.
It's now time for my week 16 injection for today. I'm still on the 2.5 milligrams of Zepbound. I always make sure that the expiration is in date for the pen injector that I do have. You do always want to make sure you're checking that. Always, as always, Make sure you're also looking at the liquid down inside of the pen. Look for any type of particulate, any kind of discoloration. There's nothing in mine other than a bubble, which is completely normal. Now, I have noticed in the past that putting this in my leg has been leaving some bruises. And so I'm going back to kind of like this extra kind of layer of fatty apron that I have right here on my stomach, because number one, I don't really care if this bruises. Nobody's going to be looking at my stomach. I additionally also have to take my Cosentyx injection this week after I get off of these antibiotics fully. And so I need to be able to put it in a different location on my body. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one right here in the side of my stomach. And then I will probably just put the Cosentyx down by my leg. You can see I have my little helper right there who always wants to comment about how cold this is when they're doing it. If you are going to have your kids help, just make sure that you're getting this all the way down on your skin. And of course that you have it completely unlocked before they start trying to push that purple button. You'll see here today, she barely waits for me to put it down on my skin and she's already pushed the button. So she's a little bit trigger happy when it comes to that, but I do like to try to involve my kids in this so that this just kind of becomes normal and there's nothing, like kind of fun or intriguing about it. It's really just something boring. I let her go ahead and put the Band-Aid on me as usual, and you can tell that this is probably also going to bruise up a little bit right here. I'm not sure why these last two have started bruising me, because I wasn't typically before. It might have something to do with the antibiotic that I'm on, or I might be currently deficient in some things. But here's my bruise from last week, and it just doesn't look great walking around the pool.
Additionally, going to go over my week 15 results. As you all know, for the past week and still even right now today, I am on an antibiotic as well as steroids. Typically, when I have to take steroids with my antibiotic due to my autoimmune disease, my weight shoots straight up. So I was not exactly hopeful for my week 15 results. I am on not only that antibiotic and steroids, but I'm also on a new inhaler that has a steroid in it. Yeah. I'm allergic to everything. I'm additionally on the allergy D pills to try to clear up a lot of the congestion that I have had before I get on a plane, because that would be absolutely miserable to have to deal with that. And so I am pleased to say, which normally I would not be, that my weight only went up by 0.2 pounds. That is like, I'll go to the bathroom and that I won't be. But I was shocked that my weight was not up multiple pounds, because I've not been able to really get outside and do a lot of walking because I've had trouble breathing. I tried to work out down in my gym one day and I had so much pouring from my nose and then stuck in my throat as well that I could not catch my breath and I had to stop. So I've not been working out. I've been sick, and I've literally been on medication that typically makes people gain 10 pounds. So only being up the 0.2 pounds, fine. I'm fine with it. I additionally had to not take my Cosentyx injection that was due this past Sunday because I'm on an antibiotic and steroids, and I have to wait until that's over to be able to take my Cosentyx. Yes, I'm feeling it. All of my joints are feeling it. I've already been having trouble getting up, getting down, and moving in general without the Cosentyx, which I absolutely hate. But I'm going to be taking the Cosentyx before I leave on the vacation. Fingers crossed that it still works and gets in there and lets me move, because I'm going on a vacation that I'm going to be moving a lot and walking a lot. And I don't want to be absolutely miserable while I'm there. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to be using the travel containers that I showed you all last week. I also have those tagged over in my Amazon storefront if you'd like to see those. I will document that through travel. Hopefully, if time permits, I will still post a video next week on that travel process and how it went. It will probably be the next week after that, before I can get back, do a little bit more digging into this platform that I told you all that I would dig more into, as well as I have my 4-month endocrinologist visit as soon as I get back, that I will see what she says and what she wants to do versus what the Weight Watchers Clinic doctor has been doing. And I may decide to stick with one versus the other. One thing that I will tell you all is that a lot of people have been saying, Just find yourself a local doctor that will write you these prescriptions. Don't pay any of these platform fees. That 100% is an option. If you can find a doctor that will write you those prescriptions locally and their office is responding and they're going to monitor you and they're going to help you whenever you have issues, then by all means, stick with that doctor, get it covered with insurance for the visit, and have minimal payments for that. My doctor's office is not very responsive. I can call them, I can portal message them, and I don't hear from them for over a week, regardless of how many messages I send or regardless of how many times I call. So that is the whole reason that I decided to go with the Weight Watchers Clinic, because I felt like I personally have so many reactions normally to things that I want a care team that I can ask questions to and not just have to run to the hospital every time something may or may not be going wrong. So for me personally, my week 15 was not that great. I did not take measurements. I will take measurements the next time I give you all my results. I will not be weighing myself on vacation. Obviously, I'm not going to take my scale with me, but I will, when I come back, I will weigh myself. I will also measure myself as well, give you guys all of that. If you're not weighing and measuring yourself and taking photos, make sure that you are for your own personal comparison, because a lot of times you're not going to see the scale move, but you will see the inches move and you will see a difference in the photos of yourself and how your clothes are fitting. Overall, I am at minus 31.8 pounds. I'm still happy with that overall. My visceral and subcutaneous fat has gone down. My muscle water protein has gone up. Strangely enough, it also says that my bone density is up. I don't know that I believe that or not, but I am going to be hopefully looking for somewhere to do a DEXA scan here locally where I live. I would love to be able to do that and share that with you all on this channel as well. So make sure that you stay tuned throughout my entire journey so that you can see everything that I'm going through and all of my different tidbits along the way. Again, I want to thank Jim for being the sponsor of today's video. I am very lucky to have YouTube sponsored videos, and the fact that I've been using these and they were still willing to sponsor me and not gain a new customer out of it was absolutely amazing. I love when I can partner with brands that I already know and love. That way I can just continue to share the love outwardly. I think these are absolutely wonderful, and for me personally, because I can't take a lot of the synthetic additive type vitamins, these are wonderful for me, so maybe they'll be wonderful for you as well. Make sure that you're utilizing the 50% off code. I did not receive an end date on that code, so you should be able to use it for a while. If you guys are looking for Father's Day gifts, I have tagged new Father's Day idea list over on Amazon as well as over on Like to Know It to help you all out with some different things. You could also look in the caption down below for some links and discounts on additional items like Viome. They could, I don't know, see what their microbiome is doing. I want to wish everybody a happy Father's Day in advance, just in case I don't get another video out before then. And I will see you guys next time. Hopefully you guys are hitting that subscribe and bell button so that you stay up to date with what's going on in my weight loss journey in this weight loss vlog. And again, thank you to all of my sponsors. I really appreciate you all sponsoring my videos so that I can take the time to do research and dig into things for people, and also be able to give them a wonderful discount on your items at the same time. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.